Today has been relatively quiet, but overnight, of course, we saw plenty of activity. There was the drone strike, which you mentioned, killing 3 terrorists. These terrorists were involved in plenty of shootings to many places. The community where we are, Ganer, for example, there were shots directed at this place. We have to say we are in Israel proper. Shots were fired to this place, which is in Israel proper. Other communities inside Israel, and of course many shooting attempts towards Israeli settlements and Israeli cars driving across the roads of the West Bank, which is about a mile or so to the south of us. Right over there behind us, the city of Jenin, the focal point of terrorism. And I think the last few days showed the direction where this operation is going. An uptick in the level of violence when it comes on behalf of the Palestinian factions, and a stronger response on behalf of Israel. It was only Monday when that Israeli armored vehicle was hit by an IED inside Jenin, dismantling the car, injuring 7 soldiers. That happened on Monday. Tuesday, of course, we saw that terrible terror attack in the settlement of Eli, and on Wednesday night that drone attack. All this in the space of 72 hours, clearly showing the violent direction where the West Bank is currently heading.
It appears the IDF maintaining their tough stance throughout all this, and business as usual. Again, overnight, raising the homes of terrorists from an attack last year. Amidst all this issue, still pursuing these type of regular deterrent policies.
Yes, absolutely. Operation Breaking the Wave has not stopped. If anything, it intensifies. And I think we can expect not only more of this, the same modus operandi, but more of the same, more actions, more incursions, perhaps with greater force into the Palestinian cities, into Jenin, into Nablus. But bearing in mind that Israel is not the only one collecting intelligence and not the only one advancing. So are the Palestinian factions. We saw that with that IED exploding in Jenin, and I suspect that Jenin will not be the only arena where we see such things. And apart from that, with so many terrorists and weapons, we can expect perhaps more shooting attacks coming on behalf of the Palestinian side, and therefore perhaps even more drone strikes coming on behalf of the Israeli side.
Look, are we seeing ramped up IDF presence in the area? I know that, as you mentioned, the specter of additional, terror attacks is still looming large. What's the immediate response?
The immediate response is going in, targeting more Palestinian militants, and yes, we are seeing a heightened presence of the army due to everything that has happened in the past few days. The terror attack, the drone strike we saw last night, also the violence coming on behalf of settlers. We know that military officials are enraged by that. They're saying our units, instead of being able to go and chase a terrorist, they have to go after settlers and making sure nothing happens there. A lot of tasks for the army in the West Bank currently.
Look, there's been some criticism around that, Jonathan, that there hasn't been, or at least visible enough efforts to contain the settler riots, these vigilante squads who seem to be freely going into Palestinian towns, wreaking havoc. Is that starting to get to the army? What do you know about these efforts to contain the activity on the Israeli side?
The efforts are there, and the army, of course, would love to see none of that happening. They're preoccupied with other things. But let's remember, those West Bank settlers, they have at least some kind of support from within the coalition. So it's not going to be very easy for the army to go and chase them with full force when one of the supporters of the settlers, for example, is a minister within the Ministry of Defense, and another supporter is the Minister of National Security. As far as the army is concerned, they would be very happy not to have to deal with those problems, to deal with what they really have to do, which is chasing Palestinian terrorists. Unfortunately, the army, as it seems, they also have to deal with that as well.